I have a fire blazing outside. Elysia is inside blazing a fire. We got tunes going. We have internet. We have Starlink at the studio.
This is like a dream come true. And I just want everyone to just take a look around me, because in 6 months, we're gonna do this same clip, and then I'm gonna say, take a look around me and see how far we're gonna make it in 6 months. 6 months. Just give me 6 months time. I can't believe I'm literally working in my studio, creating my art boxes in the middle of the night. If this ain't hustling to make your dreams come true, I don't know what is.
Oh, this is good hustling. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. You can show the boxes, but you don't get to show what's in the boxes. And I could
Elysia's got to put a couple hundred boxes together, so good luck with that, hon. Good luck.
I don't think there's anything more motivating to get your stuff done when it's your own thing. It was your own ideas with your own designs in your own studio that you worked really hard for with your family to be able to, like, we worked so hard to be able to buy this building, and then we worked so hard to get to the point where we could start doing something like this, which is something that obviously I've always wanted to do, and we've been all doing it together, and the boys have been enjoying it, and it's just like coming full circle, just standing here and creating boxes.
It's been pretty fun. It's been super fun.
So many of our YouTube family members have been saying in our comments lately, like, I remember when I first started watching your videos and you didn't have a single dollar to your name, and you were going to the dump to be able to find supplies to be able to actually like make content. And they saw the views, you know, this week of our beautiful property, and we're working on this studio. We really have come so far in just a couple of years. So hopefully our story inspires you to like reach for the stars, as cheesy as that sounds.
It's not
and just
cheesy.
like put your mind to something that you really want to do, even if it's just like the smallest increments. Because trust me, we've worked in really small increments to get to where we are, and we just keep setting more and more goals. And we just kind of try to keep checking them off the list. And you don't start, you're never going to get there. Yeah. I read something the other day that I thought was pretty fun. And I want to be that person for you. We want to be that person for you. It only takes one person to believe in you for you to be like, okay, I got this. So I believe in you. You can do it.
Live the life you want to live.
Create a life you love, which is what our channel is all about, showing how our family literally started from absolutely nothing. And we've created this life that you see us have on YouTube. And we try to be completely authentically us on our channel. So you see, this is our real life. We show you our good, our bad, the ugly. It doesn't come without a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard work, a lot of teamwork, sometimes tears along the way. But this last month since launching my kids, I've cried so many happy tears I can't even tell you, because it's been like this is happening real life. Like, I'm in my studio creating my boxes that were my designs that I'm making for my community of people that have worked hard to be able to build a wonderful sense of community, which I'm so proud of on our channel, that we have such a lovely, amazing YouTube family that really joined us when we had nothing. So we can just be ourselves, and you guys love us for it, and we love you guys back for that. So I think this is pretty fun. I think our YouTube family is going to get it, how exciting and how fun this is, and how big of a milestone this is, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, and we're doing this off-grid. This is so fun. Like, it takes all of the stressors of, like, having a secondary property, of having, like, extra utility bills and all those other things that you don't want to take from the profits of all of your hard work. Like, we're doing it. I think we're doing it the right way right now. I think all the, like, fuss about, like, electricians and all that, those little like setbacks are like just guiding us in how this studio needs to be. Honestly, I'm just going to follow the path that it takes us.
Yeah, we're running completely off solar. I powered this solar generator up with the other day with the solar panels. And we're running completely off of one generator right now. We did bring a backup just in case, because we didn't know how much power or how long we were actually going to be here. Plus, Elysia did surprise me with the Starlink. So now I have a TV, I have internet, so I can play some music and we can jam out while we're building all the kits here.
Which is one of the reasons why you saw us this week showing a couple of the smaller generators, because we wanted those as backups to have here, so we can like mobily bring a smaller generator to and from, because a bunch of our YouTube family members said, you know, I thought you were using Jackery, and we do. We have a Jackery 3000 Pro that we're using as our primary source of power here, but we're here for long hours at a time, and we need to have a backup, and we also need to have something that can come back and forth between the house and here. And the 3000 Pro is like a big heavy generator, which I don't want to lug back and forth every time. So we're just trying out a few other smaller ones to see what works. So tonight we're using the EcoFlow, and at the house tonight we were using the DJI, and we
Power
also have the
1000,
Jackery going.
yeah.
So we might have a few other surprises for the studio coming.
What? Where are they?
That the boys don't even know. None of you boys,
What?
including, don't even know about. So
Well, how about you tell me? We don't keep secrets in this family. Oh, we do, don't we? Oh,
I
okay.
might keep secrets from that.
You're allowed.
If you thought that I was gonna make this studio only my space and not like also a comfy lounge hangout spot for everyone to be together while we're all working, then you got me all wrong if you thought that. This
No,
is
I
gonna be
know.
a boy zone also. I love the fire out front.
Oh yeah, I'm roasting right now. Let's see how it's doing. I got a bucket of water out here. Oh yeah, there we go. Beautiful.
Okay, we're gonna talk about it. You keep asking. I keep ignoring the comments because I kind of just wanted to address what exactly was going on with the barn build. And I know that this is a much anticipated project. We've been talking about it for about 1.5 years, but it's time to just like explain what's going on. So it did take us about 1.5 years for us to actually get to the point where we can say that we have an emailed copy of our permit for the barn. And we had a budget of approximately $12,000 for all of the supplies for what we needed for the barn. And like every family, when you're working on a project, you have to save to be able to have that money. Philip and I and the boys have been saving to be able to build this barn since we got the horses. And we finally had enough money to build the barn. And then we went to get the permit for the barn, which we figured was going to be under $100 for the permit, which goes to the township. You apply through the township. And our township let us know that we had to do some things to the property in order to actually get approved for the permit. And we've explained in a previous video that that meant that we actually owned 2 properties that were side by each. So our house and the little bit of land around the house is one PID or PID, one property. And then the acreage that we have surrounding it is a second property that we own, a second PID. And so in order to be able to build the barn, they required us to do one of a couple of different options. They wanted us to have a well and a septic approval to be able to put the barn in, which we think is ridiculous because we're not doing plumbing or electrical to the barn. We're going to do off-grid barn like we're doing with the studio. And so that was going to be very, very costly, and we didn't want to put in well and septic for the barn because it's not going to be used for that. So that would be like a huge waste of money. The second thing was to consolidate the 2 properties into one big property so it would become one PID, which meant that we needed to have a land surveyor come out and pay to have the survey redone, which we already spent $3,800 and something doing when we first purchased the house, so we would know exactly where our land was. So it meant us redoing that, having the map redrawn out, and then have a new plan drawn so that it would be one big property. And then that needs to go to a couple different agencies that also get paid to be able to say, yes, we agree that this is going to get consolidated. And then it goes to the township to get approved, a payment again of something else, another fee. And then they would say yes or no, but you're not guaranteed that they're going to say yes. We finally got our paperwork after all of that. Total cost, $8,356 and some change. I forget what the change was. You get the point. So we started with a $12,000 budget for the barn. I'm sitting on all of the wood, which we already paid for. And we had the rest of the money aside to be able to get everything else that we needed, the hardware, roofing materials, some other wall wood that isn't stuff that we got milled from a local gentleman. But $8,300 of what we had saved went to paperwork. That means absolutely nothing to us because we already owned both properties. And I'm just going to remind you, we owned both of the PIDs completely cash outright. When we bought our house here in Nova Scotia, because we work online and we sold our home in Ontario, it meant that it gave us the opportunity, which is part of our decision to move here, that we would not have a mortgage and that we would be turning 40 at that time, not have a mortgage, and be able to continue to do our content, have the worries of that kind of aside, and know that we would be able to budget for projects like renovations and barn builds and animals and, you know, family projects as we went. So $8,300 and something gone from the barn build meant that we now had a piece of paper that we could then apply for the permit for the barn, which was a whopping $61. We now have the permit for the barn. So technically we can start the barn. So we go to find information about us building the barn, which is going to be behind here in the horse pasture. And we went to go and rent the equipment to be able to auger the holes for some large posts that are in for the barn. See how much it was going to be for us to be able to actually get the whole machinery down where we live, to borrow it for 2 days to be able to do that. We're looking at over $2,000. Plus we need to rent a trailer to be able to bring the machine here. And we're at the point where we need to now put the posts in, and we obviously would like to have this up before winter. So our struggle is justifying the amount of cost that it is going to be for us to have the machinery brought down here to be able to rent it. And is it going to even break ground on our ground? Because it's pretty rocky over here. We have like large boulder rocks. We know that from doing the fence posts. So is that machinery that we're gonna rent even gonna do the job or not? So we're not really sure. So we are gonna be starting the barn in the next couple of weeks here. We're gonna be starting the barn, and I think we figured out what we're gonna do to be able to auger the holes. And obviously we've been resaving for the next stage of putting the barn together. So all the wood is here, and we need to be able to pay and rent what we need to be able to get the beams in so that we can start building the frame of the barn. So what we're doing right now is we're waiting for, I believe, about 2 more weeks, because something really exciting is happening that's kind of like a personal thing that's sort of separate from the barn. But someone is coming to visit us here in Nova Scotia, and I know that there's absolutely no way that any of you would be able to guess who it is that's coming to visit us. But the person that's coming to visit is going to be staying for a couple of weeks, and they would like to help us break ground on the barn. And so we're waiting for that, and we're going to go rent the machinery we need, get the beams, the main structural beams in the ground. They're going to help Philip to be able to do that, and me do that. And then we'll be able to work on the framing of the barn. So it is coming. So the barn is coming, but those were the setbacks for 1.5 years. We've been fighting behind the scenes on trying to get the actual permit to be able to start the barn. And we really would really like this up before snow flies. And we know that our snow here will probably come end of December, early January, that we have lots of time to build the barn, but we need to be able to get the beams in the ground before the ground freezes over, which is only the first week of September. So we're good for a little while longer, but we want to be able to do that. The guest that's coming is pretty exciting. I can't even explain to you how exciting. And I think you're going to be pretty surprised, and you're going to get to see who it is on the video, because I will be very proud to show you who it is. And they're going to help us break ground on the barn, which is going to be really exciting. But I know that you guys have been waiting for me to answer about the barn. And really hard to get to the point, and when we do finally break ground, we're definitely going to have a pizza ice cream party and be so excited that, you know, we're at the point that all of the hard work that went into just buying this wood, all the hard work that went into being able to pay for all of that paperwork, is going to be that we're going to have a beautiful stable barn on property here for the horses. Aside from the fact that we really want the absolute best barn ever for Hudson and Lennon, because they're our absolute like pride and joy, the best decision we ever made, ever was getting the horses, hands down. Like, if anyone asked me what one of my most favorite things I've ever done in my whole life, aside from having children, and obviously meeting Philip, would be that I got the horses, and no day would be the same without them. And I want them to have the most beautiful barn ever. And I want to decorate their barn, and we have like interior projects we want to work on the barn, and so many things that are not just the main structure of the barn. But it's going to also increase the value of our property, and it just adds so many other elements to our life here of doing more of our homesteading stuff that we are going to be working towards. It's just a really amazing asset for us to be able to have. We really want an outdoor grooming area, and we need to eventually have tack. You guys have been asking if we're going to be riding Hudson and Lennon. I know they look gigantic and that they look like we should be riding them right now, because Hudson's butt end is eye level with me now. I don't know if you saw a couple days ago, Philip showed in the video at nighttime, we were tucking them into the barn. Hudson is literally, they told me he was going to be 15 hands. We need to remeasure Hudson. He's growing so fast, and we will eventually ride them. And we do a ton of training with the horses. We just have chosen to keep those moments as like beautiful in the moment moments with Hudson and London. I don't want to be holding a camera while I'm filming, and film while we're doing training with Hudson and London. I want to be present in the moment with the horses. And I think that all the bonding and trust that we've built with them really shows, even just in the little bit you guys get to see of Hudson and Lennon. But we do a lot of off-camera stuff with them. So those of you who are like, you should really start training them this, we know exactly what we need to do with the horses. We're doing it. We have farrier come. We do all the training with them. That's why we have a round pen. You know, Hudson and Lennon are getting everything and more than what they possibly need. We've been told by the vet they're in perfect health. They're 5 out of 5 for their body conditioning and their health and everything. You know, we're doing everything the way that we know we need to be doing it. And the barn that Hudson and Lennon are in right now is a 16 by 20. And they have only ever known being together. So the barn that they're in right now is plenty of room for Hudson and Lennon. So those of you who are like, they're just in a shed, they're in a mini barn. It is 16 by 20. The barn is absolutely so cozy for them. I will show you a clip of them laying out full spread at night, snuggling each other like little babies. Like when you first saw us get Hudson and Lennon, they've only ever known being together. I don't even know how we're gonna separate them into a separate stall when the barn's there. They're gonna have some like campos, I think, in each other's stables because they love being together. They've only ever known that. So they're fine where they are. We just want to have even better for them as soon as we possibly can get the barn built.
They're brother and sister.
They're brother and sister.
And they're only a month apart, or
yeah, about 4 or 5 weeks apart in age. They came from the same farm. They were in the same stable their entire life. And actually
they were stalled together.
They were stalled together. And the family that we got the horses from, all of their horses, their whole herd, live together outside in an outdoor single overhang with a roof lean-to building. They've always been together. So Hudson and Lennon love their little mini barn. I don't know how we're not going to get them to sleep there when the stable's there, but they will have their stable. And I can't wait for you to see the design of the barn and what we're going to do. It's so exciting. So if you'd like to support our barn build, you can head over to ElysiaEnglish.com and purchase one of our art kits, because all of the support you guys do on our ElysiaEnglish.com, we put back into our content and what we're doing to be able to do projects like this. So shameless promotion. There you go. Buy an art kit. So glad we didn't cut this tree down. She loves it.
You scratching?
So this is where the barn is going to be. So you can kind of see, I guess, from the boulder that's on the ground there. We have not chopped the tops of this fence off yet, because once the barn is situated, some of the fencing at the back won't be there. So that's why we have that kind of like temporary there. Why Philip hasn't cut it down like he has on the front, because once the barn is in place, we're going to stop it at the edge of the building, I think. But we weren't exactly sure positioning with the permit and everything, how everything was going to be. So this is all kind of just temporary on this side until we get that kind of figured out. Also, eventually we're going to be extending their pasture. So again, this fencing might not permanently be there. So the barn's going to be about 12 feet deep will be the main stall.
Yeah.
And then another 12 feet out will be an overhang to the front of the barn.
Right.
So we're going to be 24 feet. So we're going to be getting way out here somewhere. I mean, this is give or take, okay? Yeah. And then it's going to go all the way down this way, 42 feet, which I believe takes us somewhere 24 feet this way. And so that is going to be stable barn all the way. So you can see that the barn is going to take out quite a bit of space in this front part of their pasture, which is why we're going to be extending the fencing. We need to clear some more land behind where the barn's going to be once it's built, and then we'll be able to extend our fencing that way. So come spring, the horses will have much more room. We don't really want them to have a ton of running room over the winter anyways, and so they'll have the whole front part around the building here in the round pen, and then out all the way to the road and kind of back in this little like tucked in area here. They'll have that for the winter, but it gets pretty icy. And obviously last year you saw that there was quite a few days where we had so much snow. So we don't really want them being able to get tons of speed running all winter. We want them to be in more of like a confined space anyways. And so that's going to be kind of perfect, right? And then what we're going to do while we're building is we'll be able to close off the front main area of their pasture down by the road and create our little temporary gate. So that when we're working over here, at least while we get the holes in the ground, then the horses can kind of stay over there. Once the posts are in the ground, they can come over here where we're working, but we want to make sure that while we're doing the actual holes that they're at the front of the property.
Well, I'm not wearing any pants. This should be interesting.
I got you on camera. You're like, oh, I'm not wearing any pants, so this should be interesting. Yeah. Philip's gonna check the hives. I'm proud to say that I successfully was able.
Our hives working so beautifully. I don't even have to go in.
Hopefully you can see on camera through all of our fall weeds that have started to grow. but both of our hives are working.
So both hives, I don't want to mess with it too much because I am in shorts and they will sting me. And then that's not good for anybody. But everyone keeps asking, how are the hives doing? They're doing good. We kept them small because when we first put them in, we had them obviously leave the hive. This hive here, everyone left. Well, Elysia managed to save the swarm, brought it down, put it into a smaller hive, and now we have 3 hives going. So we have 3 queens, but we don't want to mess with them too much. So we kept them small. Next year we're going to make them bigger, and we're not going to take any honey from them whatsoever. So the hives look good. The next time we go in, we'll film what the hives look like and what they're doing before winter. And then we're going to wrap them up, insulate them, and then next year we'll expand the hive. Once it's a really sustained hive and it's a well-working hive, then I think then we can upgrade and then maybe take some honey. But for now, what we're doing is working, and they're happy and they're out and about moving around. You can see they're bringing pollen in. They're doing great. But there you go, everybody.
And in another month, we have to apply to be beekeepers again for the 2025 year. And we have to let the registration place know, the Beekeepers Association, we need to let them know how many hives we have. So we'll be able to, when we registered to be beekeepers, we had to say that we were gonna have 2 hives our first year. So this time we're gonna have to mark that we now have 3 hives, and we're actually want to let them know that we would like to add more hives because we've really enjoyed doing this beekeeping journey. And so Philip and I have discussed it, and we would like to definitely have more hives than we have going now. So we'll have to make the decision in the next 4 to 5 weeks before we send in the next application to see how many do we want to expand to, because we've gone from 2 to 3. Everything's pretty much gone seamlessly. We were able to catch our first swarm and we've just really enjoyed it. So we're definitely going to increase how many, but to how many that is, I'm not sure. We're gonna have to decide. I love seeing the bees around the property. I cannot wait to taste our first, spoonful of honey. But our colonies are working really hard and they're doing a great job. And I think to be able to sustain themselves for winter, that this is the best choice for us to not take their honey for this year. Like, one of my fun life milestones was climbing that ladder and taking down that hive. I was so proud to see a few days later that they were still in that small hive, and that as a brand new beekeeper, that together we were able to do that, because the thought of doing it was not easy, and then actually doing it and then having to shake thousands of bees into the box. I thought, oh my gosh. With no
suit.
I had no suit. We had no face, like nothing. So I'm pretty proud of that. And I'm pretty proud of everything that the bees have been doing and that they've adjusted to being on our property so well. And
yeah. So rest assured, YouTube family, that our bees are doing amazing. And it's because of you guys cheering the bees on, and they're out and they're working hard just like us. Come on, you couldn't expect them not to work hard on this property. You guys got to pay your rent. So let's all hit that like button for the bees. We love the bees.
What are you eating? Hi.
Hi.
Hudson didn't know where you went, London.
We're over here, buddy.
Over here, Hudsy.
Come here, Huds.
You whinnied for her because he didn't see her around the corner. She's over here, Hudsy. So hopefully that answers some of your questions about what we're doing with the barn build and when it's going to happen, and kind of put some of your worries on if we're going to get this done before winter aside for you. We're definitely going to be able to get the main framework and our posts in before that happens. And we do have so many mild days when the weather's even starting to get cool that we'll be able to work out here, which actually will be nice because it will be no bugs and it won't be hot. So we're going to get this figured out, and we're going to move on with the barn build. But in the meantime, right now we're working on the roofing for the studio. We're trying to get the studio finished painted before the season changes here. And because we have just a minor leak in the one spot on the roof, we want to get up there and be able to do the shingling. And in addition to obviously working on the Elysia English kits, we have some projects that we want to work on to finish over at Philip's mom and dad's place when they're available for us to do that. And then transfer everything over from my art studio here over to the studio space once the roofing's done. And then we can continue some renovations that we have here at the house. But we're going to be working on the barn before we work on any more interior renovations here at our house. So you guys are asking also for an update on our kitties. They're my favorite. I love them. They're so adorable. I'll show you the kitties later this week. They're enjoying some time inside right now. I know you want to see the Bassets, and I can't wait to show you absolutely how gigantic our Kuni pigs are getting. Chickens and turkeys are in their coops today because obviously we're going to have some stormy weather later on today, but I just wanted to give you a quick update on what's going on with the barn and quick update on the bees. And I just want to say thank you so much for all the support. You guys are absolutely amazing. I know you've been seeing on some shorts I've been doing on Instagram, or even some of our clips in the videos that...
Yeah, follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram. I'll put all of our links in the description down below, but a lot of you are asking, like, how can we message you or send you pictures or updates on what our kits look like, or send us pictures of your family, or you guys are sending us all kinds of things. But just go on Instagram. You can send pictures or videos or anything on the direct messages on there, or you can email. My email is always in the description box, and Philip and I both get those emails, so you can send to ElysiaEnglish@hotmail. Also, I have a By Elysia English Facebook group that you can share any like home renos or creative projects, or ask questions or ask for advice or whatever you want on there. I'll put all the links down below for you. But you guys have been seeing us working so many hours working on the Elysia English Create With Me kits. And I just wanted to say like a huge thank you. I'm not going to cry at the end of this video, but I'm so excited and I'm incredibly proud of all of the kits I've been sent out. And I had set a goal for myself, which I thought was absolutely an astronomical goal for me to set for my kits, to hopefully meet that goal by the new year, which would be obviously beginning of January. And I am only 3 orders away from meeting the goal that I had set for myself. And it is only September 10th, I believe, today. And so if that is any indication on how well things are going with my kits, and just it's unfathomable to me that, you know, so many of you have trusted in the designs and on all of the hard work that I'm putting into the kits, and that you're just cheering me on, and all the support, just like purchasing the kits, how much that helps our family tremendously. And I'm just like checking off all the goals like so much faster than I ever dreamt that I could have. So thank you so much for that. I can't wait to actually in a couple more weeks tell you like some of the numbers on like how we're doing with the kits, and let you know what some of those goals were that I've now surpassed when I surpassed them, and just be able to hopefully help inspire you to start doing something that you've been wanting to do, and be able to show you kind of some of the things that I'm working on. So hopefully that can help you with something that you're working towards. So I'm cheering you on this end. So regardless of what you're working on, just know that Philip and I and the boys and all the animals, we are your family as much as you guys are our YouTube family, and we're cheering you on from afar. So thank you so much. I love you. We all love you guys so much, and we will see you on the next episode.